Did you know that more video content is uploaded to YouTube in 30 days than the major US TV networks have created in 30 years? Hello, action taker. Welcome to Live Blissed Out, a podcast where I have inspirational and informational conversations with business owners and subject matter experts to help you get the scoop on a variety of topics. Tired of hesitating or making decisions without having the big picture? Want to be in the know? Then this is the place to go. I'm your host, Marissa Houston, helping you achieve bliss through awareness and action. So let's get to it. In this episode, Heather Hukari shows why video is so important to use in your business and how you can start creating quality video on your phone right away. Heather is a video professional of 20 years, so she knows video. She loves creating professional video, but her passion lies in teaching others how to create video themselves using just their smartphone. She has an amazing online course called Phone Video 101 that covers everything you need to know to shoot and edit video on your phone. Visit learn.phonevideo101.com/go to learn more. Search for @phonevideo101 to connect on Instagram and Facebook. Live Blissed Out listeners take $20 off using code BLISSEDOUT. The information, opinions, and recommendations presented in this podcast are for general information only, and any reliance on the information provided in this podcast is done at your own risk. This podcast should not be considered professional advice. Heather, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me, Marissa. I'm really excited to be here.
Would you share with our listeners exactly what we're going to be talking about?
So video is a medium that has become very important, very relevant, very necessary these days for any type of business owner, a small business, a big corporation. Pretty much everybody needs to use video, and it's really become an expectation if you have a business that you're using video. A lot of people know that, they realize that, they're looking on social media and see a lot of video, or within their company, they know that they need to make training videos or product videos. But a lot of people are intimidated because they don't know how to, or they think it's really expensive to outsource, which it definitely can be. So people just wind up not making it at all. It's just kind of too intimidating. So what I want to talk about today is why video is such a big deal nowadays, and also just give people some tips and some confidence about starting to use video on their own, just using their phone as a camera.
Video is where it's at. We know that the results that we see is huge when you use video over any other medium. So for sure, that's what we need to be thinking about if we really want people to learn about what we are able to offer and also feel connected to us. Really, the power of video is they want to hear us and see us. And at the same time, it might be a product that we really need to visualize to understand how it works. I think that part of the problem is we have this desire to be perfect. We are so concerned about the equipment, the lighting, what we say and how we're going to say it, and what people are going to think when they watch the video, that it discourages us from taking action.
Yeah, that's so true. And you're right about the connection piece. Video is really the best way to connect with somebody on what feels like a face-to-face level, even though you're not in person and you're not face-to-face. By watching a video of a person talking directly to the camera, the viewer feels like it is sort of a one-on-one. So you're, as a business owner, building a connection, building trust, telling someone who you are so people can really see you, see your product, and decide that they want to work with you in whatever capacity you need them to work with you. It is great for that. It is better than photos because video is moving. You can see the person or you can see the product, and that gives you a lot better idea of what you're looking at than just a picture or a blog post or something like that.
Building community is also extremely important, and video encourages people to reach out and engage with you at a level that no other form can do.
Yeah, that is so true. And we know nowadays with remote work culture, people are used to being on Zoom. Seeing other people on video is almost more common than seeing someone in person. So people are used to video. They expect it. It does build that connection. And what's really cool is that any video is a good video because it's doing that job of connecting people. But there are little things you can do that make your video look better, make it look higher quality. And that really goes a long way to make you look more professional, to show up better on camera, and to sound better. All these things go a really long way. And a lot of people don't know what these little technical aspects are that could really improve the quality of their video. And that's kind of, like you mentioned, the intimidation. People are intimidated to learn these things because it is a bit of a learning curve and think they don't have time or they're not going to understand it. But that's really not true. A lot of little things go a long way. So that's what I've been doing now for a couple of years, is teaching people those things that they need to know to be able to shoot and edit good video just using their phone.
Yeah, and I truly believe, and this comes from my experience even with podcasting, that we overthink things. We tend to think that it's more complicated than it really needs to be. And yes, there are a lot of steps. That doesn't go away, but it does get much easier. And you know how it gets easier? You have to learn it and you have to apply it. You created a video course that's called Phone Video 101. This course specializes in teaching people how to use video with their phones. And I think that's absolutely brilliant. The reason being is that the phones are something we're all used to using. They're very accessible and easy to manipulate and utilize. And they're a great stepping stone for beginners to get comfortable with the process. Would you explain to us exactly what's in your course and how it can help us?
I just want to just briefly explain who I am and the credibility I have to teach a course like this. I'm a video professional, 20 years. I've always loved video. I learned how to make video professionally in college, and then it's all I've done for my whole career. So I definitely know video. I know video theory. I know how to do professional video. I know how to use film equipment and professional editing programs, and it's all great. I love all forms of video. But honestly, one thing I always didn't like about the production process is how bulky and heavy and time-consuming all this gear is to lug around and set up. And anyone that has worked with me knows on set, I'm just like a total baby about it. I'm like, oh, we have another case to bring in. I'm a minimalist. I don't like having stuff. So I loved the final product, but I just kind of hated the process. So when smartphones came out and the cameras were pretty good right away, but they quickly improved. Every version of iPhone had a better camera. So at some point a few years ago, I just started shooting a lot of video with my phone. And I was noticing, wow, this looks really good. I mean, it's comparable to what I'm shooting professionally. So that really opens a lot of doors in my mind. Everyone has a phone. Everyone could use this camera and make professional looking video. And I also learned that you could edit on phones. There are editing apps. And I tried out a bunch of them. I found one I really like called KineMaster. It's not like Adobe Premiere. It's not a professional program, but it does some really amazing things for an app. Like, it absolutely blows my mind, the things you can do. So I realized with all this knowledge of, hey, I can shoot good video with my phone. Hey, I can do some pretty great edits on my phone. Anyone else could do this too. So I took kind of all that knowledge of 20 years in the industry, knowing about video and how to make it and what makes it good, and I translated it into shooting on your phone and editing on your phone. So that's how Phone Video 101 was born. I just wanted to share this with people. I love video. I'm passionate about it. I want there to be more good video out there in the world. And so I started teaching people, and I taught in person at first. I did like 3-hour workshops. It was really fun. It allowed me to get feedback, iterate the course, figure out the best way to teach everybody. So then I turned it into an online course because I wanted to reach more people. And of course, being an online teacher, having an online platform, you can reach people around the world. So the course now lives online. And in the course, it really just covers A to Z, everything you need to know to start shooting and editing on your phone. It's platform agnostic. So it's not a Instagram Reels course. It's not a TikTok course. It's not a Facebook video or YouTube course. It is just basic video. So all the skills you learn in Phone Video 101, you can apply to any video you're making for any platform. So I think it's really helpful for anyone that's looking to make any sort of video, whether it's you getting on camera to talk about a product or to tell your customers who you are, or if it's you showing exercises to somebody, if you are a trainer or physical therapist. Whatever the case, knowing the basics of video and how to make it look good is going to go a really long way to making you come across really well in your business, look more professional with your videos.
I love that it crosses all platforms, because I think the thing that holds a lot of people back is some people are like, well, I have an iPhone, so the course doesn't really cover all the things that I need for my particular piece of equipment. And I think that it's important to just have a general foundation of how things work so that you can take it across those platforms and utilize it. Because at the end of the day, we need to apply what we learn and start getting better. When you start anything, it's always going to be a struggle in the beginning, no matter how much you learn, because you have to apply. And then as you go through it, you're also going through an improvement process. So yeah, you have the foundations from a good course, but at the same time, you have to be willing to go out and make some mistakes and go do it so that you can improve.
That's so true. And practice goes such a long way. I know everybody wants to pick up a skill and just instantly be really good at it, but that is not really a realistic expectation. People can get through the course relatively quickly, but if you're not practicing along and really learning these lessons, then you're not going to make great videos. It is a new skill. There is some technical know-how involved, and you've got to give yourself some time and a little bit of patience till you're feeling like, oh man, that video looks good. And particularly if you're getting on camera, that also takes a little bit of time to look confident, to know what you're saying, to come across the way that you want to. You have to practice that, and it will get better. A lot of people are really nervous to get on camera. I like to say that after the course, because I do have a whole module on being on camera, people get camera brave. That, along with practicing a lot, watching your videos, and then changing things that you think need to be changed.
Yeah, and I think we need to remind ourselves, I'm so glad you brought that up, Heather, that if we look at some of the videos that we love to watch, whatever that is, if you have a hobby or something that you like to watch regularly, I encourage people to go back to the very first video that was ever put out from that channel, and you will see where they were compared to where they are. There's a progression. Even the best people out there have to learn, and they learn by doing. So that is really something that's important that we keep in mind, is that we have to be willing to learn and improve, because that's part of the process.
It really is. That is such a good point. Sometimes I follow certain people on Instagram that are big influencers, and they sometimes do post videos of when they started, and it is hilarious how different it was. Like, if they had just given up then that would have been it for them. But instead, they kept making videos, and now they present so well. Like, it's just the easiest thing on earth to jump on camera. Well, that is not necessarily a natural thing. That takes practice and time. That's how people get good and better at what they're doing. This is not just video specific. I mean, as we know, any skill you've learned, you had to practice.
And you know what? There's some comfort to it, because when you look back at the very first one and you see where you've been and where you are today, it actually makes you feel really good that you've improved, that it's a reminder that you are getting better all the time. And there's no way to get better magically. It doesn't happen to anyone. Nobody is born this way with skills. It has to be learned and applied. And so I think that's huge. And I think that that's something that a lot of people just seem to overlook. They basically compare themselves to people that are really good at it now and think, oh, I could never be that way. I even have people who want to be guests on the podcast that are very worried because they listen to the other guests and they go, wow, your guests are so eloquent and knowledgeable. I'm not like that. I can't be on your show. And I assure them that that's not the case. We get into this habit of comparing ourselves, not realizing that those people had to start somewhere too.
That's so true. And on that point as well, people don't expect for perfection either these days. I think authenticity is a big deal right now. Authenticity rules on social media. I think it used to be people needed to be done up to the nines, looking perfect hair, perfect makeup. People don't really want to see that anymore. They want to see other real people. Maybe it's because of the pandemic and Zoom or whatever the case, but it's actually wonderful. They want to see the real you, and the real you might have some stumbles or some mistakes in your video, and that's actually okay. And the other cool thing too is that if you know how to edit, you can take out a lot of those mistakes. It's not just like one take and you're done. Hope you nailed it. You actually have some leeway after the fact to do some fancy magic, as I like to call it. So it's really a wonderful time to be making video.
Yeah, editing is magic dust for sure. And that's the reminder there, is you have to know that you are in control. There's so many tools now that we can use so that you really can design it exactly how you like it. And that's important too, especially for beginners who are worried. Then you at least know, look, it's just me and the camera, and I can go in here and change it before it goes out.
Yeah, absolutely. You do have a lot of power. And the more you know about it, if you took my course, then you're going to feel confident with these skills and know what you're doing when you start production, but then also know what you're doing in what's called post-production, which is the editing and finishing process. And a lot of people making video don't know how to do that. And it's really an advantage and an edge. If you do know even the basics of editing, that's going to go a long way for you.
When you were talking about the fact that we don't have to be perfect, that is who you're attracting. Everybody decides who they want to follow. You will not please everyone. That's not possible under any circumstances. And so the people that follow you are going to relate to your persona. For example, if you're the kind of person who doesn't like to wear makeup and likes to wear casual clothes, the person that's going to follow you and want to learn more about you and connect with you is going to be that kind of person. Same goes with somebody who likes to dress up and put a ton of makeup on and look like they're from some Hollywood studio. Somebody who relates to that will listen to that. So just remember how important it is to know that you're not trying to please everybody, because if you do that, then you'll get discouraged because it's just not realistic.
That's so true. You do have to know who you're talking to, who your audience is, who your niche is, and just go with that. And you're going to be really successful. You are so right. You cannot please everybody on video. That is not possible. And it's not necessary either to have a good, successful business and to have ROI on your videos.
Yeah. And you don't have to make a production of this. You know, when we're thinking we're going to make video, we're thinking we got to spend 20 hours a week making an hour's worth of video, editing it, making everything perfect, and spending our entire days doing that. And that can be very intimidating. It can be 30 seconds. It can be a minute. It doesn't have to be a huge deal, especially when you're starting in the beginning. Just put it out there. Just start doing it and get comfortable. And then as you get better editing, as you get better with the process, and you say, oh, well, now I want to bump it up to 5 minutes. Now I want to do 10 minutes. You learn how to go there. You don't have to jump in and feel like you've got to conquer the world in your first try, right?
I could not agree more. And I think there is certainly times and reasons that you might want to go with a big produced professional video. And that's your choice, and you are going to spend some money on that. And it's likely it'll be a beautiful video. Maybe this is something that's going to live on forever and be on all platforms or something. But for the most part, I think you'd be surprised at how many videos you can just do yourself. Anything you're putting on social, some of your website videos, if you have a YouTube channel, so many of those things don't have to be highly produced, don't have to be expensive. Once you know a few things about video, you can absolutely do yourself. And once you start making video, I find a lot of times people get really creative. They start liking it and being surprised at what they can do. And they just start getting more creative juices flowing. And suddenly you're in the shower and you have an idea of like some cool video you can make and you're excited about it and you want to jump on video, which sounds crazy to a lot of people at first, but it's really the case that sometimes that happens. People get the bug, they fall in love with this medium, and they just really enjoy making video.
Oh, I'm so glad you brought that up, Heather. So here's my question for you. I know that there are still people, no matter what we say, that don't like looking at themselves. They might not even want to listen to themselves. I mean, there's a lot of factors, and that's really a personal decision. Are we able to use the information in your course to create videos, even if we choose not to have ourselves on there? Perhaps we're doing a demo or showing a product or doing something like that. Are these skills transferable in situations where we might not be comfortable showing our own faces in the video?
Yes, definitely. The course teaches a lot about how to make videos in general. It's not all what I call talking head videos. That's when someone's on camera and they're talking to the camera, which we see a lot on social media. But there's all different types of videos. There's videos that just show B-roll, which is sort of in the industry like a secondary part of video. It's like footage, supporting footage. So there's all kinds of ways you can make your B-roll look really good by using movements with your phone, like these very specific ways to move that are a professional film thing that I teach people how to do on their phone. So you can take your products or whatever it is you're showing, shoot them in a beautiful way, edit that together, put it to music, add a few graphics, and then you've got like a great product video without ever showing your face. You can make something like that and then do a voiceover after the fact so that you're not showing your face. Instead, it's just your voice going along with the video. The course also does teach specific information about talking head videos, which you could use to shoot for your business, but use somebody else in the video. If you have a business partner, if you have a customer, like if you want to do customer testimonials and you want to shoot people talking about their experience with you, you will know how to frame them in the best way, how to make them sound the best, how to make them look better with better light. You can tell them kind of what to wear even to look their best on camera. So absolutely all those skills you'll learn, you could use just to make video, whether or not you ever get actually in front of the camera yourself.
I think we just tend to think of the typical, I'm going to hold my phone to my face and I'm just going to start talking. And there's just so many different options out there that are available so that there's something for everyone. What happens when somebody who takes your course has a specific question about maybe a piece of equipment that they are thinking of getting or whatnot, is there a community where they can reach out and ask questions about that?
There is. When you join the course, you get a membership to a private Facebook group with other students. So people can post in there. I'm sure most people have been part of a Facebook group before, so you know how that works. You can post a question. I am in there a lot answering questions. And it's great because it shows you that you are not a silo. You're not working alone. There are other people that are learning the same skills as you. Likely someone else has the same question you do. So it's nice to see other people's questions, read the answers so that everybody's learning the same thing on the same page. And also you could even post videos for feedback, which some people are nervous about doing. But in theory, it's a great place to do that, where people will be nice and give you constructive feedback, as well as me also doing that. There's also, within the course, I have a gear suggestion list. So if somebody does have a question about a light or what tripod to get, I've got an entire list of links of exactly what I recommend for all of those pieces of equipment that you likely will want to get as you're starting to make videos.
I remember the same thing when I was starting to podcast. There's just so much information out there that it's confusing. So to have one place where you have a really solid foundation from a professional who's been there, done that, is so helpful. I would love to learn more, Heather, about how people can get a hold of you and learn more about this course that you're offering.
Well, I would definitely say first, if you're on Instagram, follow me there at Phone Video 101. I post a lot. I do a lot of reels, just giving people tips and trying to do some funny stuff too. So I've gotten really, really into that. That's also where it's best to direct message me if you have any questions or concerns. And if you want to just check out the course, head to phonevideo101.com. You can see a short webinar. It's 19 minutes, I think, that just gives a lot of good foundational information about why video is important, why it's so possible for you to make. And then from there, you'll be directed to a sales page that gives you more information, some video examples, stuff like that. And you can also purchase the course there.
I'm just thrilled to have this conversation with you because I think we needed to talk about a lot of these elements that I don't think people think about. And yes, I'm sure that there are people that are just not comfortable using video as a resource for whatever reason. But I think that if we learn what avenues we can take to incorporate it, we're going to see that it's so beneficial. There's just no downside to doing videos because it's really necessary in today's world. And so we got to figure out a way to remove some of those barriers so that we can achieve that.
And I want to just let everyone know I do have a $20 off code for any listeners to the show. The code is Blissed Out, BLISSEDOUT. That'll save you $20 on the course. Also, I just want to point out small business owners are my target audience, of course, but like you mentioned, learning video just opens doors for everybody. So even if you are a stay-at-home mom, a grandparent, somebody who travels a lot, somebody who has a pet that they love, learning how to make better videos in general will give you better home videos, better memories that you can share with people and watch later. It's just going to improve everything about video in any capacity that you make video. So it's not only for business owners. We all have a almost professional quality camera at all times. It's really unbelievable. Like back in the day when my dad was recording home videos of me and my sister in the 80s, he had a giant camcorder that was expensive and clunky and recorded to a VHS, and then he couldn't really edit anything. And I'm so glad he took video. I love watching that stuff. But now it's just so much more accessible. It's certainly a skill that will just give you a lot of joy for really the rest of your life.
Even though it has all these bells and whistles, if you don't understand what they mean or how to utilize them, then you're basically missing out on a lot of opportunity when it comes to maximizing the quality of your videos.
Yeah, that is absolutely right.
Thank you again for being here.
Oh, you're so welcome. Thanks for having me.
That's a wrap for this episode of Live Blissed Out. Thanks for listening, and thanks to Heather Hukari for joining us on the show. If you have a question or comment for a future episode, all you have to do is go to speakpipe.com/LBOVM or click the link in the show notes to leave a brief audio message. If you find value in our show, please visit liveblissedout.com to reach out, subscribe, and share on social media. This show is made possible through listeners like you. Thank you. So long for now, and remember to keep moving forward.